March 8, 2014, Malaysia Airlines Flight 370 lifts off at 0:41, carrying 239 people bound for Beijing. Minutes later, a final automated message, then the pilot's voice. "Good night, Malaysian 370. At 1:21 a.m., the transponder is cut. The plane vanishes from radar as if it never existed. A Boeing 777, gone, without a trace. How did this happen? In How Did This Happen?, the MH370 Disappearance crisis, we unravel not just a timeline, but a puzzle haunted by impossible silences, failed handoffs, and escalating global panic. The stakes couldn't be higher, because the truth is, what happened next defied every expectation. At 1:07 a.m., the aircraft's automated ACARS system sends its final status update. Routine, uneventful. In the cockpit, Captain Zahari Ahmad Shah and First Officer Farik Abdul Hamid maintain steady contact with air traffic controllers as MH370 crosses the dark sky toward Vietnamese airspace. At 1:19 a.m., a calm voice from the cockpit delivers the last words ever heard from the flight. "Good night, Malaysian 370. 2 minutes later, at 1:21 a.m., the plane's transponder signal vanishes from civilian radar screens. No distress call, no warning, just sudden silence. In those early moments, controllers expect a standard handoff between Malaysian and Vietnamese airspace. Instead, the disappearance of both voice and data link leaves only questions. In the control rooms, the routine of night flight gives way to a spreading sense of unease. The world's eyes are about to turn to a blank spot in the sky, searching for answers in the silence. Military radar screens, still sweeping the night sky, pick up a trace. MH sharply west, cutting across the Malay Peninsula in a move no one expects. Civilian controllers are left in the dark, but INSI-restricted operations centers' raw radar plots show the aircraft racing toward the Strait of Malacca. At 2:22 a.m., the blip fades from military radar, leaving only a void over the Andaman Sea. Yet the plane is not entirely silent. Far above, a communications satellite records a faint electronic handshake. Then another. In total, 7 automatic satellite pings register between 2:25 and 8:19 a.m. Each one a brief signal confirming the aircraft's systems are still powered, somewhere beyond radar's reach. These handshakes, stripped of voice or data, become the only evidence that MH370 continues its flight. Silent, invisible, but undeniably still moving across the world's most remote waters. The first surface search begins in the South China Sea, where air traffic controllers believe MH370 has vanished. Naval vessels and aircraft from Malaysia, Vietnam, and China scramble to cover hundreds of square miles, but confusion reigns. Procedures for a missing aircraft are unclear, and the crucial handoff between Malaysian and Vietnamese controllers leads to a nearly 4-hour delay before full-scale rescue operations commence. In those lost hours, valuable time slips away. Civilian radar is blind after the transponder drops, while military radar data, tracking the plane's westward turn, is not immediately shared. Commanders on the ground struggle to coordinate resources, sending ships and helicopters in the wrong direction. The search rapidly expands, but the ocean yields nothing. As days pass, costs soar and frustration mounts. The world is left waiting, and the need for better tracking becomes impossible to ignore. Inside Inmarsat's London offices, data scientists pore over the raw satellite logs. With no radar, no voice, and no distress call, attention turns to the faint digital handshakes. 7 in total, exchanged between MH370 and the Inmarsat 3F1 satellite. Each handshake contains a burst timing offset, or BTO, which measures the distance from the satellite to the aircraft. When plotted, these BTO values create a series of arcs across the globe, each representing a possible location for the plane at a given moment. But distance alone isn't enough. The team also analyzes the burst frequency offset, or BFO, which captures the Doppler shift in the signal, shaped by the plane's speed and direction. By matching the sequence of BTO arcs with the BFO trend, analysts rule out a northern route and focus on a narrow corridor deep in the southern Indian Ocean. This innovative approach, built from fragments of signal drift and timing, becomes the foundation for the next phase of the search, one that will leave the surface behind and turn to the ocean floor. On July the 29th, a piece of aircraft wing known as a flaperon washed ashore on Reunion Island, east of Madagascar. French investigators confirmed it belonged to MH370. Over the next months, more fragments, sections of horizontal stabilizer, interior panels, were found scattered along the western Indian Ocean, from Mozambique to Madagascar. Forensic teams studied each item, tracing marine growth and damage patterns. The flaperon's break showed signs of separation during descent, but not enough to reveal the plane's final moments. These scattered parts proved the Southern Ocean crash, yet left critical questions unanswered. The debris offered hard evidence, but not a complete story. Speculation fills the void left by missing evidence. Some investigators argue a sudden mechanical failure or fire could have crippled communications, while others focus on deliberate human action. Captain Zahari's flight simulator logs, leaked to the public, reveal he had practiced a route deep into the southern Indian Ocean months before the disappearance. Theories of hijacking and sabotage swirl, but no credible claim or passenger link ever surfaces. The cockpit voice and flight data recorders, vital black boxes, remain lost, leaving a crucial gap in the story. As official searches end, families refuse to accept silence. They organize vigils, launch petitions, and push for reforms demanding real-time tracking and accountability. For them, the agony of not knowing is a burden carried every day, fueling a movement that will not let the world forget those still missing. On March 8, 2010, Malaysia Airlines Flight 370 vanished with 239 people on board. In the hours that followed, routine communications ceased, the transponder was switched off, and military radar tracked an unexplained westward turn. Despite the largest and most expensive search in aviation history, only a handful of debris pieces, beginning with a flaperon found on Reunion Island in July 2015, have been confirmed as belonging to MH370. The main wreckage and the flight recorders remain missing. Investigators analyzed satellite handshake data to narrow the search, but the aircraft's fate and the reasons for its disappearance are still unknown. Families and experts continue to call for improved global tracking and transparency. Today, MH370 stands as a stark reminder. Even in an age of advanced technology, key questions can remain unanswered, and the need for international cooperation in aviation safety is ongoing.